Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Not YouTube's today. I got picked up on that one. I'm going to try and stick with ladies and gentlemen, or maybe just good afternoon. I don't know. Anyway, car and bike here again. Just on my way back, nearly home now after a trip to Doncaster to look at bits and bobs for biking. Properly cold now. Glad I'm nearly home. The cold has got through all of my clothes now, so starting to really feel it. And reminds me of a topic, so I thought I'd quick vlog about the topic. This might not get uploaded if it's even more nonsensical than normal. Last night I was on the treadmill with the old iPad watching YouTube, and I was watching a vlog by Suffolk Andy. If you're not subscribed to Suffolk Andy, get over there and have a look. Good vlogger. And now, by the time I upload this, because I've got 7 or 8 now all ready to upload, so this is probably going to be a week old by the time you get it. But he was talking about global warming. And I think it followed on from his vlog about how they want to lower the speed limit of certain parts of the M1 from 70 to 60. Which seems a little bit silly, seeing as at the same time there's other MPs talking about increasing the speed limits on the motorways to 80. And the reason they were giving for this is all to do with emissions, and that's all tied into this global warming business. And Andy had done another vlog about the global warming, and he wasn't sure whether it was happening or not, what was causing it, all that kind of thing. Now, I've always been a bit sceptical about global warming. Not necessarily sceptical that it's happening, because the global temperatures seem to be suggesting that it is indeed getting warmer on the planet. But I've always been a bit sceptical about what's causing it. But I've got an open mind, and the evidence does seem to be pushing more towards not necessarily humans causing it, but certainly having a bearing on it. Now, might well turn out that's not the case, or is the case. The biggest problem I've got with it is that there are too many vested interests. So the people who can increase the price of their products if global warming is true, or is caused by us, or well, actually whether it's true or caused by us or not, doesn't really matter. It's giving some people an excuse to raise the price of their products. It's also giving governments an excuse to put tax on things. I mean, 80% I think now of the tax on petrol, of the price of petrol is tax. And it's also giving other people a chance to make money out of us in varying different ways. I mean, it really turned it into a marketing tool as well. I mean, if carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming, you've got car companies who actually turn it into a marketing tool by, first you get things like the Prius. It tells you that it's better on petrol. I don't believe it is myself. I know people with Priuses who claim they get 45, 46 miles to the gallon. I also know people with small petrol non-hybrid cars who get a lot more than that. I know diesel can get a lot more, but they mess the roads up with the diesel, so I'm not going to tell people to get one of them. But then you've got some car companies who are really taking the mickey. I was reading the other day about the new Porsche 918, I think it is, that can run for 22 miles on electricity alone, but also has about 800 or 900 horsepower or something ridiculous. And you're not getting that out of low emission electrical power, you're getting that out of burning lots and lots of petrol. But again, this comes back to tax, and how in this country the rich seem to get taxed less than your average man, and it means that people who are rich can end up buying a Porsche 918 capable of doing over 200 miles an hour, and because it can do a certain amount on electricity, they pay no road tax. Awesome. So I think there's one problem with the whole global warming thing. People aren't actually concentrating on the reality of global warming and what that might mean for us. They're just using it to extract more money from it, in my humble opinion. But then you get to another part of the reality of it, that only a small fraction of the global warming, or, well, let's talk about emissions, of the emissions in this country are caused by vehicles. Only a very small fraction of that is caused by motorcycles. And yet it's us who seem to be getting hit with it, with all these taxes on fuel. And we get hit again in our homes with all the taxes on fuel, now that we've got VAT on the fuel and all these green levies and all that kind of stuff. So again, it's the poor people who, and a normal man who, you know, bear the worst of the brunt of it. And let's be clear, if we're talking percentages, it's something like 1% of the Earth's carbon dioxide emissions are caused by the UK. So yes, we all have to do our bit. But if we can't solve the problem in some other way, it's not going to make a lot of difference, because you've got countries like China and India building power stations like nobody's business, who apparently, you know, even if we stopped in the UK emitting any carbon dioxide at all, any greenhouse gases at all, China would make up for it in a couple of weeks. So, you know, we can't really have that much of an impact. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't try. I think we absolutely should. The other thing that Suffolk Andy was saying was that we've now got to the point where people in the upcoming countries, the developing countries, we are starting to tell them what they can and can't do after all the time that we've been using fuel and what have you to our heart's content. And he points out that it's not up to us to tell them that they can't have what we've had for so many years. Whereas I think what we really should be doing in the West and in developed countries is spending the money and developing the new technologies. And then rather than going to these other countries and telling them they can't have something, we can tell them that they can have something better. Anyway, that's just my 2 pence worth. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, YouTubes. Oh, I did it. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.